Hi, my name is Chelsea, and welcome to Collective Self, an intentional community where you are always welcome. I'm so happy to see you today. Today I have a class for you, don't mind my creaky floor, that is for a joyful heart. I want to get our blood pumping, I want to feel good, and I want to invite you to join me in that. If that appeals to you, please stick around. And before we get to that, let me give you the affirmation of the day, which is, I allow myself to embody my joy. I allow myself to embody my joy. So with that, let's get started. Today, we're gonna start with a dance. We're gonna get the blood pumping, energy moving, energy flowing, and then we're gonna go into a quick breath work, Ujjayi breath, which is alternate nostril breathing, which is very good for balancing and calming the body and the nervous system. Then we're gonna get into our asanas. So I'm gonna play the music. Feel free to dance around, move in a way that feels good. If you're sore, feel free to just stretch it out. Whatever feels good for you, that's what this time is for. And don't mind me, I'm gonna be acting like an idiot. So let me get the music. I'm gonna play it over here by you. This is all about you. Don't worry about how it looks. Just worry about how it feels. And I hope it feels good. Okay. Now your energy should be pumping. You should be just a little bit sweaty, a little bit warm. You can meet me on your mat in an easy seat. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sniffly. Take your time. Take this moment to settle in. Catch your breath. Breathing deeply into the belly here and exhaling. Lengthening through the spine here. Regulating the breath back to its normal state. And really feeling that heat you just created. A few more normal breaths here. Normal being comfortable, regulating. Good. So now we're going to do our Ujjayi breath, which is, like I said, alternate nostril breathing. So you're going to take right hand or left hand, your choice. We're going to take our thumb and our pinky. Now, if you struggle with low blood pressure, hypertension, or any heart conditions, you want to sit this out. What you can alternatively do is simply just have your hand on your heart, one hand on the belly, breathing connected to your breath in this way. I also find that this position is pretty balancing for me, but it's up to you. Whatever position you want to take, or you can just take a normal, hands on the knees, or whatever feels good, whatever mudra. But if you are doing the alternate nostril breathing, we're going to take our thumb and our pinky, and we're going to place our pinky on our left nostril, breathing in through the right nostril. Watch me first, and then we can do it together. Exhaling out, switching sides. Exhaling through the left nostril this time. Inhaling through the left nostril. And then switching sides again, exhale. Inhaling through the right. Switching sides. Exhaling through the left. So now you can begin this practice on your own. So taking your hand, starting on whatever nostril feels good for you. You're gonna begin inhale. Switch sides. Exhale. Maybe this hand comes to the belly. And inhale again, same side. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, same side. Exhale, opposite side. And take this at your own pace. We're going to be doing this for just a few minutes here. Perhaps meditating on the affirmation, I allow myself to embody joy. Recreating your length through your spine here. And it's totally okay if you mess up. Especially if this is the first time you're doing it, take your time. We're really just doing this to connect, balance the body, and feel good. So don't be too harsh on yourself, okay? Just a few more breaths here. And bringing the hands to the knees. Inhaling all the way into the belly, holding at the top. Exhaling. One more, inhaling all the way in. And exhale. Let it all go, sigh out through the mouth, release. And last, huge breath, biggest breath we've taken all day, fill the lungs. And let it all go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let me get my phone, because that's what I'm using to keep time. And then we're gonna get into our asanas. Stay in your easy seat, because we're gonna start, okay? So exciting! Okay. You can begin by simply dropping your shoulders down, rolling your head. Maintaining that breath connection that we just cultivated. So throughout the entire practice, we want to make sure that when we move, each movement is synced with an inhale or an exhale. And depending on how comfortable you are with deep breathing, you might have shorter or longer breaths, which is okay. Just we want to make sure that we're having that mental connection to the breath throughout our entire practice. So as you roll your head to one side, inhaling, And next comes back to the other side, exhaling, for example. And alternating sides if you need to. Feeling all of the cleansing. Now rolling out the wrists here. Going to the opposite side if you haven't already. Now we're going to take our arms, inhale the hands up overhead, palms come to touch, squeezing the arms together, straightening the shoulder, straightening the spine and dropping the shoulders down the back. Exhale, plant the left hand on the right knee, looking behind you for a twist. Look over that right shoulder. Maintaining integrity through the spine, make sure that you're not sinking down, but really opening up through the chest. Coming back to center, clasping those hands above your head, squeezing those shoulder blades. And exhale, come to the other side, twisting. One more time, each side, inhaling up, squeezing those shoulders, squeezing that back here. And twisting to the other side on your exhale. Getting into that side body here. On your next exhale, bring the hands back up over. Inhale, look up to the hands, and exhale, drop. Left hand, right hand comes to left knee, left hand comes behind. Exhale, come back to center. You're gonna walk your hands forward just a little bit until it's comfortable for you. And you can let the head be heavy here. Walk the palms back up, inhaling up, and then slowly roll forward once again. Planting the hands on the floor, letting the head be heavy. Active through the fingertips here. And last one, inhale all the way up, rolling up through the core. Hands come to touch. And then let's slowly bend forward, locking the hands out. Keep compressing the spine here. Okay, very nice. Come back up to a regular seated position. We are actually going to come to a cat-cow, so meeting the tabletop position. Remember, your wrists need to be underneath your elbow and your shoulders, and your knees need to be underneath your hips. Planting the tops of the feet down, grounding through. Neutral spine here, and inhaling to look up, open the chest. Smile. And exhale, round through. Inhale to roll up, opening up through the chest, pulling the shoulders back. Lifting the chin. And exhale, round through the spine here. Rounding through the shoulders. Rounding through the belly. Now take your own pace here. Maybe finding some organic movement in the spine. You can look over your shoulder here. Really just finding what feels good in that spine, warming up. Come back to neutral and begin slowly sitting back on your heels for a child's pose. And walk your hands forward and sink your heart into the mat. Bring the forehead, the chin, or the cheek to the back, your choice. Option to take a wide-legged forward fold if this position doesn't feel good. And wide-legged just means that your knees are coming out to the sides of your mat, as wide as your mat, and the feet are coming big toes to touch. Rounding through the fingertips, sliding all the way up, coming to the belly for an upward facing dog. And then pushing back into your child's pose once again, taking your time here for a cat-cow variation. Inhaling, coming to upward facing dog. Pulling those shoulders back. Grounding through the tops of the feet here. And exhale, pushing back into child's pose. Take your time here and find your own pace. Connecting the breath to the movement with everything that you do. And pushing back one more time into your child's pose. On your next inhale, we're going to lift the right hand up. On your exhale, we're going to thread the needle, bringing it through underneath that left arm. Option to take a bite here. Landing the toes on the mat. Active through the core here. And making sure that hips are square to the mat. So we want to make sure that neither of our hips is moving towards the front of the mat more than the other. So if you find that your right hip is sort of trending towards being how am I supposed to excuse me. If you find your hip is like moving towards the front of your mat, you want to just pull it back and engage through your core. Sorry about that. Inhale the right arm back up, look up, and come to tabletop position. Switch sides for you. We're going to step the left foot back now in a straight line. And then begin to turn the toes towards the long edge of or actually the short back edge of our mat. Then we're going to take our left hand and we're going to begin to lift it, opening up the chest for a gate pose. Right leg is facing towards the back of the mat. Wrapping the shoulders here, rounding through the fingertips and the toes. Outer edge of the left foot is also grounded down. Wiggling the fingers and smiling as always, because this is good for a joyful heart. And exhale, bring it all the way back down. Bring it back into your tabletop position. We're going to come back into our child's pose. Knee can come as wide as the mat once again. And on your inhale, lifting the left arm this time and threading it through the right. Pulling those hips back in, grounding. Grounding through the tops of the feet and the hand. Option for a bind here. Inhaling back up through center, tabletop position. Let's take our gate pose on the other side. So we're gonna take our right leg this time, pointing it straight back, and then bringing those toes to turn towards the short edge of your mat. At the same time, the left leg comes and faces towards the back of the mat. We're grounding through our right palm and then beginning to just pull the left arm almost as if we're pulling a bow and arrow. Bringing that arm up and looking at it, wiggling the fingers, maybe rolling out the wrist. Grounding through that bottom hand here. A few more breaths here. And when kneeling down to our tabletop position, find me a hero pose, which is just a kneeling position. If it's uncomfortable to sit back in a kneeling position, you can always just come up. Whatever you choose. Raise your arms either way, pulling the shoulder blades down. Relaxing. Palms come together and hands come to heart center. Exhale. Grounding here. Finding that inner smile. And maybe turning it into a physical smile. Maybe a little dance, shimmy. You know? Wherever you are, find me in child's pose. And we're gonna get ready for our sun salutations. So walking the hands forward and then dropping the hips, sinking the chest into the mat. And then pressing into the fingertips. Grounding the toes into the mat. And pushing the knees back for your first downward facing dog, pedaling the feet here. Bending the knees. Maybe stretching those calves. And then find yourself in a forward fold at the front of the mat, walking and hopping. Inhale up to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale all the way up to mountain pose, bringing the arms up with you. Hands come to touch at the top of your head. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Hands are facing towards the front of your room. So palms facing forward, shoulders are pulled back here. Chin is lifted because we are proud and we love who we are. And then make sure your feet are hip distance apart. You're gonna be slowly sitting back, almost as if you're sitting into a chair. I have my hands at heart center, but you can have your hands on your hips or wherever feels good. And when you're in your chair pose, sitting back, rounding through the heels, you're gonna lift those arms overhead. Or you can keep your hands at heart center. Your choice. Arms provide a great counterbalance for this pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back into plank. Pulling the core up and away from the ground, dropping the knees or coming to the forearms if you need to. Coming to chaturanga and upward facing dog. Pulling the shoulders back once again, grounding through the feet, active through every part of the body. Squeezing the glutes to protect that lower back. And then pushing back into downward facing dog. Very nice. Stepping the left foot into a three-legged dog, grounding through the right foot as our sort of third leg of our tripod. And then stepping our left foot all the way to the front of the mat here. Right toes turn at a 45-degree angle. Hips are facing towards the front of the mat, squared. Left knee is grounded, also in a 45-degree angle. And lifting the arms up, or having a hand on your hips. You can also cactus the arms, which is my favorite. Warrior one. I allow myself to embody joy. Sinking into that front knee. Back knee can bend if needed. Windmilling the arms down and stepping back into plank. Chaturanga to up dog. And push back into down dog. Same thing on the other side, using that left leg as a kickstand now. Right leg comes up, opening up through the hip, by bending the knee if you want, and then stepping all the way up and through. Left toes come to 45-degree angle. Hips are facing towards the front of the mat. And lifting the arms for a warrior one. Maintaining integrity through the spine, not going too far back or too far forward, but really just keeping the pelvic bowl, our chest over our pelvic bowl. Releasing any and all tension with the breath. Windmilling the arms down into plank. Taking a few breaths here. Come into your chaturanga to upward facing dog. And pushing back into a downward facing dog. Finding a new way to make it to the front of your mat, whether you're crisscrossing the feet, doing a little dance, meet me in a forward fold. Begin sitting down like you're sitting in a chair, and then swoop those arms up overhead for your chair pose, grounding through the heels. Releasing any tension we feel with our breath. Opening to whatever sensations we feel, also with our inhale. Sitting lower feet. And then coming to your mountain pose, standing up tall. Hips shoulder distance apart. Hands face toward the front of the room. Find stillness here. forward fold. Clapping the hands around the ankles if you can. So you can bring your hands around the backs of your legs if that's accessible, or just grab the ankles. You want to just pull yourself, pull your torso towards your legs. Bending the knees generously here if you need, and not putting any pressure on those knee joints with those arms, okay? So if you are holding it and it's like on the knee, it's gonna be too much pressure. So you wanna have it below the knee or above the knee, same, or above the knee, same as if you were doing tree pose. Letting the head be extremely heavy here. If the arms are loose around the knees, by the way, then it's completely fine. Option to also have the hands interlaced behind the back. Inhale up to halfway lift. Exhale to drop, forward fold. Step the right foot back for a high lunge. Bending the knee. 90-degree angle. Bring the hands to heart center in front. And then bring that right knee to that left thigh there. Twisting. Up. If you need a little bit more balance, bring the back foot up and out. Twisting the torso back to center. Uh-oh. There we go. Windmilling the arms down. Stepping into plank. And then stepping the right foot up and then coming up into your high lunge on the other side. Hands are at heart center, bending into that right knee. And then bringing the left elbow over that knee. Smiling here if you like, or even if you don't. You know, just getting that embodiment of joy into our system. Arm twisting here. Oh gosh, coming to plank. Stepping back, pulling those shoulders back here, tucking the navel up. And then coming to tabletop, crossing the ankles behind you, and coming into a seat here. We're gonna do a seated forward fold. So if you want, you can move some of the meat from underneath your seat here to get a little bit more grounded. Breathing here, straightening through the spine. And then slowly walking the hands forward. Grabbing either the ankle, the shins, the bottom of the feet, whatever feels good for you. And then letting the head be heavy here for your seated forward fold. Really surrendering here. So inhaling and feeling all the sensations that you can. And then as you exhale, deepening into those sensations, releasing any tension that you feel, really allowing yourself to be exactly where you are without resistance. Coming back up. And coming to lay on your back now. Bringing the knees to the chest, hugging them in. Maybe rocking a little bit back, side to side, back and forth. And then lifting the legs into the air for your half bow pose here. Grounding through the lower tummy here and activating through the core. Flattening the feet. You can bring the arms out to your sides long if that feels good. It might help to stabilize as you are like grounding through your core here. Bringing the knees into the chest once again, and then grabbing the outside of the foot or the inside of the foot for happy baby. I never grabbed the inside, but maybe I should. Rocking here. Straightening the legs if that's accessible, getting a little bit of a deeper stretch in those legs. And then bending again, pulling those hip creases down and towards the ground, maybe even feeling a bit of a stretch in the upper back. Few more breaths here. And then we're going to bring the knees together and drop them to the side of your choice. I'm dropping my legs to the right side, and then I'm going to be looking and have my head pointing to the left for a supine twist. Option to place a pillow between the knees or underneath the knees for a little bit of extra height and support. And if you want to make this a little bit less of an intense stretch, then you can also put a pillow underneath this left shoulder here and it'll lift you up. If you want a deeper stretch, you can straighten this bottom leg and have that right leg, or excuse me, that left leg come completely to the ground here. It's whatever feels good for you, as I always say. Bringing the knees up to center. And then dropping them to the other side. All the variations I mentioned before, pillows underneath the knees or underneath the shoulder are all available as well. And see if you notice the difference between one side versus the other side. Coming back up to bring the knees back to center here, grabbing them, giving yourself one last hug here. And then bringing the arms and the hands out. Legs. Feet come to the bottom of the mat, hands can come to the sides, palms facing up, preparing for Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take this moment to just simply feel the joy that you cultivated. And if you didn't cultivate any joy, feel what you did cultivate. Even if it's just just the fact that you showed up today and you got a little sweated or you moved your body or whatever you did. feel that. You know, it's not up to me to say what you got from the practice, but for you to recognize it. And I do hope that you got a lot out of it. So we're gonna be in Shavasana for a few minutes and then close it out. Hear the sound of my voice. Enabling your fingertips. Breathing a little bit deeper than you were. For your next inhale. Come to your right side. Just roll into a fetal position. And inhale, come up to a seat. When you're ready, we are going to bring our beautiful practice to a close by inhaling your arms up overhead. Hands come together. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste. I really hope you enjoyed today's class. I certainly enjoyed it. And if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I post about 2 long form practices a month, and I hope that you'll join me for them. And until next time, you are invited to join our intentional community over on Facebook. It's called Collective Self, as well as follow me on TikTok at CollectiveSELF, and subscribe once again. So thank you, and I will see you next time. I love you. Bye.